Maple Leaf Wrestling held their Resurrection event live from Montreal, Canada this past weekend, headlined by PCO versus Dan Math in a House of Pain match. So how was the event? Was it another strong showing, or a more lackluster event compared to their others? Well, I'm Reese from the Wrestling Hideout, and let's break it all down. Now first things first, we're missing Mauro Ranallo from commentary, instead replaced by Joe Dombrowski, who you may have heard on MLW before. Now we do have Don Callis back on commentary, however, as opposed to Vader Scott and D'Lo Brown from the last event who covered for him. Dombrowski does a really good job stepping into the shoes of Mauro for this event, and him and Don Callis have some really good chemistry together, so this was a nice replacement. But, that being said, it would be nice to have Mauro Ranallo back. Now first up we have Stu Grayson taking on Sheldon Jean in the opening contest. This was a match that was designed to be a feel-good opening to the show, with Grayson being from Quebec. This match had that typical babyface taking on the cheating heel, as well as having to deal with the man on the outside interfering, making it a numbers game. Now this review will have spoilers, so you've been warned, but we do get a surprise appearance from Evil Uno, who comes out to help his tag team partner Grayson. This very quickly leads to Santina Marella, of all people, making an impromptu tag team match in which the babyface team of the Dark Order would make extremely quick work of the heels to get the show started. And as a little side note, the Dark Order's finishing move looks incredible. Next up we have Hammerstone versus Rohan Raja with Aurora Tevez at his side. It's nice to see her getting some exposure on these shows, as I think she's got a lot of potential. Now this match is for the PWA Champions Grail, and Hammerstone is absolutely jacked here. Anyone familiar with his MLW matches, especially his Jacob Fatu feud, or even some of his TNA stuff where he was pretty criminally underused in my opinion, will know that this guy can go in the ring. Rohan Raja plays the sneaky cheating heel so well in every appearance within Maple Leaf so far, and I think adding Tevez as his manager will help play into that cheating aspect even more, helping to keep things fresh while he's got the championship. They work the story of Hammerstone being the big brute and Raja having to do underhanded things to keep up, as well as trying to dismantle Hammerstone really well. Some manager interference and a low blow helps Raja retain, but overall this was a solid match. Nothing spectacular, but an easy watch. After this we had the NWA World Heavyweight title once again being defended in a Maple Leaf Wrestling ring, as Tom Latimer would defend against former champion Matt Cardona. Now, I might be in the majority here, but I'm kind of fed up of seeing Matt Cardona everywhere. He's clearly very good at what he does, but he just seems to be on every show possible in prominent spots. The story of this match is that Cardona was never beat for the title, he had to surrender it due to injury, and Cardona comes out in the red, white and blue, cementing himself as the heel to the Canadian crowd. Now when you think of an NWA World Heavyweight title match, this match probably did fit that vibe. It's just a classic face versus heel, with the heel and Cardona doing all he can to frustrate the champ and bend the rules as much as possible. This is another solid match on the show. Again, nothing to really write home about. There's other matches here that will definitely be remembered more than this one. Next up, we up the ante with a 6-way scramble match with a pretty solid lineup. We've got Jonathan Gresham taking on TJP, Psycho Mike, Mike Bailey, Michael Allen, Richard Clark, and Bhupinder Jinder. Mike Bailey is the clear favourite with the crowd as the hometown hero, and each man gets a fair chance to shine in this match in their own way. But it does feel a little clear, the, difference in ability between the likes of like TJP, Bailey and Gresham, as compared to Psycho Mike, Clark and Jinder. Now this doesn't make the match bad by any means, but it does kind of feel noticeable. On the flip side of this though, it is a nice way of having 6 men in here with different styles. Really keeps the match refreshing, whereas, a lot of scramble matches you might have 2 or 3 high flyers, that type of thing. This was the perfect match to put on after the 3 pretty average matches to lift the crowd up. Michael Allen Richard Clark steals the win from under Bailey in a pretty surprising result, considering the stars in this match, but I do think it was the right result. Maple Leaf need to try and build some of their own stars that aren't just from other companies. Obviously people like Mike Bailey and Josh Alexander are with AEW, so having their own stars when these people aren't available I think is only going to help them further. Up next was a match between the Good Brothers and the War Dogs, a rematch from the previous event that ended in a draw. Now, surprised this match didn't have a no DQ stipulation or something, since the last match ended in a huge double count-out brawl. And this match instantly starts with a brawl to the outside between the teams, with the ref struggling to keep control, and then a ref bump, which kind of just answers the question, like, why wasn't this designed to be a no DQ match from the start? Once the match settles into the ring, it's a pretty fun affair, with the War Dogs working over Anderson, Gallows making the hot tag, the War Dogs using underhanded tactics to regain control, and then eventually the Good Brothers picking up the win with the Magic Killer. It'll be interesting to see how often the Good Brothers appear in Maple Leaf, considering they don't seem tied to any other major company, and they do have a good relationship with Scott D'Amore thanks to working in TNA together. After this, we had Giselle Shaw defending her Women's Canadian Championship against the debuting Shotzi Blackheart. Now, Giselle Shaw has had some really great matches so far in Maple Leaf. Matches against like Miyu Yamashita, Serena Deeb have all been incredible. But sadly, this match really missed the mark for me personally. It's probably one of her, if not her worst matches in this company. An early botch with a very obvious missed kick, lots of missed timings, interference from Matt Cardona to seemingly push the feud between him and Blackheart for another company, and then a major pinfall mistake from the ref really just sums this match up. While there was a lot of good in this match, and Shaw is a great choice as Women's Champion, this match just wasn't up to the usual quality. And I think the ending with the ref botch really just didn't help. Then it was time for match of the night by far, as Ace Austin challenged Josh Alexander for the Maple Leaf Canadian Championship. A clash between two former staples of TNA wrestling, and that quality shines through in this match. This is a really good 20-minute matchup with a clash of styles, but where they blend the styles together so perfectly to fit an escalating match. Looking at the card before the show, you probably would have picked this to be match of the night, and it really didn't disappoint. There's some really great high spot moments in this match, coupled with some technical wrestling, some storytelling from both men. You get Ace Austin's high flying ability, submission wrestling from Josh Alexander. It's exactly what you'd expect. This is definitely the must-watch match from this show, and if you enjoy this match, you will probably enjoy other Maple Leaf shows too. And then finally, it's time for the main event as PCO takes on Dan Maff in the House of Pain match. This match is pretty much what you'd expect. It's two big dudes just brawling and hitting each other with weapons. PCO takes crazy bumps that you'd expect for this kind of match despite his age. Both men definitely lay their stuff in, and there's more than a few moments where things look painful, but this is a really fun main event to have. One thing that really stood out to me, we have Billy Gunn being the ref. Bit of an odd choice, but it's whatever. But Billy Gunn kind of towers over both guys, so it's a little weird seeing a referee being taller than two guys having a huge hardcore match, but that's just a minor nitpick. And then this match ends up everywhere you can think of and ends with a huge swanton from PCO through Maff on tables onto the wooden floor of the crowd area. It looks really painful. This is probably a spot you need to seek out somewhere just to see how far PCO flies through the air. So while this wasn't the best show from Maple Leaf, and honestly it probably wasn't even close to being one of their better shows, it was still a fun event from start to finish. There's some really great highs, some unfortunate lows, with a lot of just, it was alright in between. So if you're looking for an event to watch, I'd recommend this, but I'd probably suggest checking out one of their other shows, which are all on YouTube now for free. So yeah, go and check one of those out, see if you enjoy the shows, and if you do, then maybe consider purchasing this one. I really hope you've enjoyed this Maple Leaf Wrestling Resurrection review. If you have, please let us know in the comments whether you've watched the show, whether Maple Leaf takes your interest. Have you been thinking about getting into them and looking for some places to start? Then let us know. If you're already, please like the video and subscribe to the Wrestling Hideout for more. We've got everything for your wrestling needs, from predictions to reviews to podcasts to fantasy bookings to lists. You name it, we probably have it somewhere. And hopefully, we'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.